came from Miami, FLA. Hitchhiked away across USA. Plucked her eyebrows on the way. Shaved her legs and then he was a she. She says, hey babe, take a walk on the wild side. Said, hey honey, take a walk on the wild side.
Yeah, I've got no problem with
Candy
that.
came from out on the island.
That's perfect.
In
That's
the
perfect.
back room, she was everybody's
All right.
darling.
Hey there, folks. Welcome to Violent People Radio, episode 79. I am one of your hosts, Sam Damasio. With me, per usual, Pat. How we doing?
Oh, we're doing okay. Taking the cat to the cardiologist tomorrow. So if you're listening to this and you're on the VP Discord, say something nice for my cat. If you don't, I'm going to take it as explicit desire for my cat's appointment to not go well.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah, we do have a
Lots
list.
on here.
I am going to be, I'm going to be keeping track. I got a long memory
Take
for
names.
this shit.
And also with us, per usual, Chris. Chris, how we doing?
Oh, I am doing swell in the home stretch before going away for Christmas, going back home.
Going back home.
Yeah,
Where's home?
good old Michigan,
There we go.
where
There we
I
go.
Sunshine
don't
State.
live currently, contrary to some people's beliefs.
Yikes. We're teaching people today. And we have a first time guest. Some would say our biggest fan. Orchid, how are we doing?
Doing all right, pretty good. Honored to be here. Yeah, I love that Pat. What can I say? Just love that Pat.
I love it. Yeah, so some news. Dan has quit the podcast. So all's out well that ends well.
He described this as his Stavros moment.
Yeah, that's exactly the exact words he used. So we will be doing this like the Good Morning Show has been doing, and have a rotating potential co-host for the show going forward. All right, should we hop right into what we've been watching? Because Pat, you've been telling us that you've been watching the good shit.
Oh, yeah. No, thanks to work being crazy all month, I managed to squeeze in wrestling literally just before we all jumped on this call. The only wrestling I've watched this week is the latest episode of JCW Lunacy, which,
As it should
as
be.
you might remember, is now booked by Vince Russo. So, sorry, my cat is trying to me right now. Great audio, thank you, amigo. So JCW Lunacy, live from Wichita, well, not because it's like 2 months ago, from Wichita, Kansas, live minus 2 months. Hour and a half YouTube thing that has matches of 25 minutes of actual wrestling time. For a Juggalo Championship wrestling show, I'm pretty sure is the perfect ratio. I had results right here, and then I lost them because I was doing a deep dive on Big Vito. Because
Whoa.
Big Vito is all over this show.
Why?
Because he's Vince Russo's right-hand man, but also he sucks at everything he does, and Russo hates him.
Good. So that's what you want all over the show.
So he's been going around big dogging everyone until finally Jay got it that he took a Singapore cane out of Jasmine St. Clair's hands and started whacking Vito with it. And Russo, who it turns out the 51% owner, because nothing excites wrestling fans like majority stockholder storyline. Russo said, well, if you want to be like the boys, you're going to be one of the boys. I'm stripping you of your commissioner status. Violent J is very about that, though I do see some writ in Russo's point that the commissioner, the guy who decides the match, should not be going caning people. Others may see. That's kind of, I don't think management should have the power to physically attack workers. I know Tim is very in disagreement with me about that, but he's into the next QBR. First match, though. Ninja Mac, Suicide, Shane Mercer, 3 favorites of the podcast. We love them all. Ninja Mac, not really sure what's going on with him. He seems to have lost his step. He can still do the gymnastic floor routine stuff, but he's looking sloppy. I don't know. I don't know if they're feeding him Noah. Suicide was, of course, Kazuchika Okada under the costume. Ninja Mac wins. There was sort of stakes to it. It was. Vince Russo, he has a fun little skit where he's complaining that his office is just the bar, like a bar area in the venue. So who comes up to him but James Storm wanting a beer? And this leads to a coal miner's glove on a pole match, James Storm versus Kerry Morton. There was also a 6-man tag match that I just fast forwarded through. I didn't really want to watch it. But James Storm, Kerry Morton, again, 2 favorites of the show. They have a fine match. They seem to be getting the Russo jokes out of the way early, like the coal miner's glove on a pole match. They did a bit later where Jasmine St. Clair, there's a stipulation where if her team loses, she has to do a striptease. They're just kind of gunning through cliches. Most of the show is just Vince backstage gets, and I'm going to be honest, it was so much more entertaining to watch those than like actual wrestling. I think I've convinced myself that what I is 1999 Raw. There's a bit where So is yelling at Big Vito because Big Vito keeps attacking people, which is true. And he says, Vito, stop hitting people, stop going into business for yourself. I want you to be my eyes. Big Vito says, of course, boss. Yes, boss. Then the next thing we see is him beating up cocaine in a men's room for no real reason. This had the most disgusting and alarming moment of the show where they're fighting in a men's room. Vito's hat falls onto the ground of the men's room, and then he picks it up and puts it on. And I did not like that. I mean, I do like the idea that Vito might get sick from it. So if he has, he's probably already got all kinds of hepatitis, but if he gets more kinds of hepatitis, it's a win in my book. Too Tough Tony and Willie Mack, they're upset about the new Russo regime. They say they want a match with Kong and Mr. Happy, who I think is Sam Stackhouse, because there aren't too many other people shaped like that. Russo says, as a show of good faith, you'll get your match, and if you win, Jasmine St. Clair has to strip down in the ring. I'm not really sure why he would offer that, other than just kind of a baseline assumption of what wrestling fans and or juggalos want to see. Too Tough Tony and Willie Mack, they win the match, but of course they do not get the striptease because the heels come back and beat them up. Also, Vampiro's running around. At one point, Vito has a conversation with Vampiro where they seem to be trying to do stuff like the 1998 Ultimate Warrior storyline where he's just appearing and disappearing. But instead of even doing a two-way mirror trick like they did with the Ultimate Warrior, they just have the camera turn around for more than ample time for Vampiro to just walk away. And then they slowly turn back and say, oh, wow, it's like he was never there. Anyway, so this is 1999 wrestling TV on a dime store budget. I am all in on it. I think everyone else should be too. Stop watching AEW. The Continental Classic can go fuck itself. JCW lunacy all the way.
And just to confirm, you're saying that Vince, and I know this because I just clicked on the link, but there's a lot of Vince Russo actually on the show.
There is more Vince Russo skit content on this show than there is wrestling content.
That's fucking awesome.
He he calls out Triple H like twice. Again, he just starts throwing out shots. He says, well, he's making the case that Violent J can't be a booker because he wants to be a wrestler. In 2 different segments, he starts going after Triple H, saying like, look how that worked. He also throws a stray at Jeff Jarrett about it too.
Now that's fucked
Vince,
up.
yeah, you can't disparage the Saint Jeff Jarrett.
The GOAT.
I'm sure Russo and Jeff Jarrett are just gonna like exchange text messages saying LOL about it. Russo and Triple H, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm good. Like, I'm glad to hear there's more Russo on the show, because like after he took over, you like, I was looking at cards because you could like do the math and figure out when he was like allegedly booking the shows, and you just like looked at the cards and it was a JCW card. Like all of these matches are just matches JCW would have run pre Vince Russo, but it's everything around it, which is
it's
is
because
beautiful.
if you're looking at cage match, you can't, like a Russo or really any Attitude Era style show, if you just look at cage match and it just tells you the matches, it doesn't convey 2/3 of the show.
Yeah.
Like
I
you would
guess
need like a Slash Wrestling CRZ style recap. They just do entire quarter hours segment by segment. Or you need like a Scott Keith. You need the sharp analysis Scott Keith.
Yeah, I guess I was just expecting like more funny guys to come through. Like somehow
I mean, Big
Vince
Vito's
Russo-
all over the place too. He walks like he's fucking like like he's Chuck Liddell or something, like 2025 Chuck Liddell. So I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
sure Vito can wrestle. I'm also not sure that will. I think we're gearing towards some, like, in my dreams, the end game of this is Big Vito versus Violent J in a singles match. And
Now,
I can only imagine.
yeah, now that's beautiful. That warms the heart to think about. No, probably
wouldn't mind-
overheat Vito's heart.
I wouldn't mind seeing Vince lace him back up again. Like, why not let him and Willie Mack?
I mean, it's been a while since he's had a title run.
I mean, the people are longing for it, right? Nostalgia's in. Let's make it happen.
That is one of the as I was watching it, I was just like, man, they're riffing on stuff they're bringing up like Judy Bagwell on a pole and stuff, and I'm just kind of like, that's from 26 years ago. Like, goddamn, wrestling just doesn't have any new ideas.
So what you're saying is promotion of the year. TV
Absolutely. Well, it's a neck and neck race between Violent J and Court, promoter of the year.
Of course. Dan will appreciate you said that.
Well, I don't really care about what Dan thinks anymore. Also, I forgot the other big angle is there's tension between Caleb Conley and Jeeves because Black Dahlia, is that her name? Like the 4'11" woman with a giant ass. I mean, I know that narrows it down.
I have no idea, but
I'm pretty sure it's Black Dahlia. Her gimmick in JCW is she is the ring rat. and she is coming between
yeah,
Caleb
okay.
Conley and his manservant Jeeves.
That's sick.
Interesting. All the characters. There we go.
It's
Yeah,
it's a
called
it's a
storytelling.
very character heavy show,
You're telling me.
and
This is the storytelling everybody on Twitter is talking about now.
yeah,
Clamoring for.
I mean, I don't want bangers. I want like fucking terrible skits with guys who can't act, and then in between those, a 3-minute Ninja Mac match.
And yet
Oh,
you
that
won't
sounds
watch
good.
NXT anymore.
Oh, that's more about just not wanting to self harm.
I'm with you there.
All right.
Also, NXT doesn't have
Quick.
Ninja Mac.
Oh.
I mean, let's fucking be honest. Like, if NXT had
Oversight.
anyone as good as Willie Mack, we'd be in business. They don't.
There. Got me there. Chris, what have you been watching?
So unfortunately, Pat was too late to tell me to not watch AEW because I watched a significant amount of months old AEW
Okay.
just over, like, to give myself a little break from the lucha. There were like most of AEW TV I have not seen from this year, so I was just like hopping around on matches that looked like they might be good. And sometimes I would like start eating dinner or something and I would leave it on and there would be a match that I would watch that I would never have watched if I was like, I guess I'm like too far into this Julia Hart match, which luckily those are mostly like 4 minutes. But yeah, just caught up on a bunch of like Dynamite and Collision and some like pay-per-view pre-show stuff that looked interesting. Anyone in our audience already watched these 9 months ago, so I'm not going to like talk too much about some good TV matches I watched. Would you be surprised if, for the most part, the best TV wrestling matches were, especially on AEW, were ones that had luchadors involved? I would have never guessed that. Fun Dralistico versus Hologram match from March. There was Mike Bailey versus Dralistico match from April that
good.
I really dug. That had like a 6 or maybe even a 5 on Cage Match because I was using Cage Match to like decide what matches looked interesting. But they don't know good wrestling because Dralistico versus Mike Bailey is awesome.
Where do
I've said
we
it
stand
on.
Where do we stand on Dralistico? Because I feel like he's someone who has kind of gotten bogged down by like the perceived wisdom of like Rob Viper calling him a dipshit Twitter. But like I haven't watched a ton of Dralistico matches lately, but when I do, I'm like, oh, he's been learning from Roosh. He's been, like amping up, toning down the Mystico-ness and toning up the Rooshness to good effect. He even had like a good match in GCW that year I was watching all that GCW shit.
Yeah, so our friends at the Dig Deep podcast lovingly refer to Dralistico as Draymond Mystico. Because he's a former Mystico, but he's Draymond Green. He's a goon. He's a piece of shit. He's gonna beat the shit out of you. He's gonna punch you like you're Jordan Poole. And he really excels in that role. So like him being a piece of shit versus like a fiery babyface like Mike Bailey for 8 or 9 minutes is awesome. Mike Bailey, I think I've said it on this podcast before, but he is like, it's very strange for people to go to AEW and you're like, oh, I like what this guy's doing a lot now because he's like toning it down. But Mike Bailey was a guy who I think a lot of people got tired of them because like Mike Bailey was working 8th matches on every indie show.
Yeah.
Sometimes for an hour, right? Like, I mean, I've sat through a few of those hour-long Mike Bailey matches, and bless their heart. But I'm okay. I don't need that.
And yeah,
Bailey was doing bangers. That was the problem.
Yeah.
And some of them are very like fun and they're highlights in that run, but I think a lot of people just got sick of it. But like the Mike Bailey Kevin Knight tag team is always really fun. Watching those matches, and yeah, Mike Bailey just doing like a shortened version of what they do best is on TV is like really good. Very solid TV worker. Will probably be on like in like the 50s, 60s range of my VP 100. But yeah, that Dralistico match really stood out. Another match I really liked. I watched Dynasty months and months ago, but I didn't watch the pre-show match that had the Crew, Action Andretti, and Leo Rush with Nick Wayne versus AR Fox and Top Flight, and that's a really good like go spot fest pre-show match to warm up the crowd before they watch 7 more hours of wrestling. This is the show that had like 2 back-to-back 30-minute matches. The like John Moxley versus Swerve match that like the biggest people who will talk John Moxley Wrestler of the Year or like Swerve as having a good run, like they will tell you that match fucking sucks because it does. Even like you can see moments where it like Moxley is kind of working. It's just like I mean, this happened 8 months ago. Everyone has talked to death about that match, but it's bad. But yeah, that Action Andretti, Leo Rush, Nick Wayne, AR Fox, Top Flight match, pretty sick. Other than the AEW, I did watch some more Lucha Memes shows the past couple days as well, including one that I watched all of right before the show. The July 6th show, mostly a forgettable show. There's a couple fun matches. Avisman versus Lunatic Extreme has some really cool moments. Cachorro de Guerra versus Yoruba, also very fun, but nothing that like some of the Lucha Meme shows have had like lots and lots of good shit. And this one was largely just like, yeah, you can watch the top few matches on the show and have a decent time, but you don't need to go out of your way to see it. Unlike the July 19th Lucha Memes versus CMLL or Virtus, because there's a 2 instead of the first S in the show name. So it's, I believe, Virtus. And this show rocks. It kind of starts all right. and gradually gets better as the show goes on. It starts with a hot tag opener, the only one that's not a like promotion versus promotion match. It's Gasparin Jr. and Skyfire versus Matharo and Simbolo Azteca. And I mean, it's not a full arena, so they're not working like this is a full arena, so we're going all out, but they know like the people who are there and the people who will watch this show are the kinds of people who won't just skip a tag match featuring like some random indie luchadors, even though if they're here for the bigger CMLL and bigger indie guy names. So they go all out, and that's a really, really fun tag match. Then there's a few matches that are like kind of okay to kind of good. Alexius versus Cachorro de Guerra has a few moments. I haven't seen much of Alexius. I think Dan mentioned it a couple, like either last week or the week before, but it's very funny how CMLL guys are not allowed to lose on like these indie shows, especially Lucha Memes. And Alexius is a guy who has like 15 matches ever. According to Lucha DB, he's like 15, 17 matches. Not working a lot of the big CMLL shows, but and like Cachorro de Guerra isn't like a name guy, but it's fine. Like we can't let Alexius lose. Coyote
But
versus
you can't. I mean, come on.
You can't. Coyote versus
can't.
Magnetico. Starts off kind of slow, gets hot in the middle, and then kind of dies off. But there are a couple cool spots there. Mary Caporal versus Persephone is also like pretty fun. That one's probably shortest or second shortest match on the show. Fun Avisman versus Rugido match. But this show really starts to cook when you get to the top half of the card. First off, you have Defunto versus Rey Espartano. And before we started recording, I mentioned in the Discord that people who have not seen this match should watch this match. I know Defunto is a guy who has increased his stock a lot with CMLL work. And he's going balls out here with Rey Espartano, who's one of the best guys on the indies. There are multiple dives into the crowd that made me lose my mind. Defunto is just beating the shit out of Rey Espartano, laying in all the strikes. It is just a spectacle. There are so many like big high spots and like real car crash wrestling, and it like kind of shows that on this show, like it's not just going to be the CMLL guys like dicking around. They're here to work, even though they're guaranteed good booking because they're not going to lose. They are going to put on a good show, even though the like match result is very predictable. And yeah, this is just one of my favorite indie lucha matches of the year. Might nominate it for some award, like for an award on the show. Who knows? But yeah, like if you're into like high spot, insane, like sometimes just like car crash lucha, this is this is what you want. It is good shit, highest recommendation for watching this match. And then you get Cerebro Negro versus Xiaohua. Little bit different, more mat focused because you've got Xiaohua, Cerebro Negro, working less of like the brawler that defines a lot of his best matches of the year. He looks really good. The chemistry is there. Cerebro Negro will be on like extremely high on my list this year, and I can't wait to like do a bigger deep dive into what I've missed. The weakest of the top 4 matches on the show, but still like very good, is Akuma versus Lunatic Extreme. This one you've got a little bit more brawling around the arena. There's a sick balcony dive, and like one of the reasons I think the CMLL guys look so like honed in on the show is because it is like, I think their previous versus show, or like one of the previous ones from a few years ago, like was actually in Puebla. So they still had like the limitations of working a CMLL venue. And here you can work more like it's the CMLL guys in IWRG or something. This is in I think this is in Lopez Mateos. And yeah, so good brawl, some great dives, and then a main event of Judas El Traidor versus Zandokan Jr. It being a Judas El Traidor match, I was kind of expecting like a little bit more on the mat from this. Like I was like, oh, they're going to get like Zandokan Jr. working like heel in a like Yave situation until it like breaks out into more brawling. But no, right away Zandokan hits Judas El Traidor with, I couldn't quite tell what it was, but it was sharp, and Judas goes off screen for a minute to Blade, and he's bleeding for the entire match. You're getting Zandokan Jr. working like way more hardcore with the blood. Then you're going to see him from working a banger in CMLL, or like if AEW or ROH brings him in for a match or something. So he's having a really good time working just like a big indie lucha brawl, and it's a ton of fun. Zandokan is a really good piece of shit, along with Defunto. And I loved this one too. It's on the like the shorter end for matches. I think it goes like 12 minutes, so it's really contained. They're getting their shit in. They're beating each other up. They're laying in the chops. There's like there's a good chop exchange in here, and like sometimes chop exchanges can be annoying on these kinds of shows, but like a chop exchange or even a forearm exchange can be like good in the context of a match if like the rest of the match warrants that happening, and I think it does here because it's like they're really laying it in, and with Judas El Traidor already bloodied at the start of the match, you're just like he's already working from behind, so to have him try and like overpower Zandokan with some of that, I think works. And yeah, really awesome show. You can probably skip most of the undercard, even though I think most of it is still fun. But watch those top 4 matches from the show for sure if you haven't yet. Like this is the ideal when you bring in CMLL guys to your indie lucha company, because they're not just working like they would a CMLL match on like 60-70% speed like you sometimes see when they're working a smaller arena. They're really game. They're having fun doing things they don't normally get to do in Arena Mexico or Puebla. And yeah, just an absolute blast of a show.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Orchid. What are you watching? Since the last time you were on. Start from the beginning.
Orchid is muted right now.
I'm muted. Okay. If it's been from the last time I was on the show, I'd probably have to go back to like Hulk Hogan, Sergeant Slaughter, the Desert Storm Brawl. I don't think I want to do that. Let's just stick to this week. We were talking a little bit in the Discord today about like sort of like, you know, like letting go what you don't like in wrestling, and like leaning into what you do. Like I think like I really feel like I have like pretty much at this point am convinced, like this year especially, that like I just do not like American television wrestling and like the constant pay-per-view cycle. And like I often say that like I love AEW because like it reminded me of why I love wrestling, and it taught me how to love wrestling while also teaching me how to hate AEW. So like I approach AEW with such a bitterness, even though like I don't think I've missed a single thing they've done this year. Where like I'll just throw out like fucking 1-star matches for like things people are just dry jerking on the internet. I'm not going to talk about any of those, although Lord bless our roly poly Swerve Strickland for coming back into our lives. Um, and I don't know if anybody wants a spoiler about MJF from tonight's show. Does anybody want an MJF spoiler? Like while we're recording?
He's
I
back
believe-
and he's badder than ever.
Yeah, he compared Swerve Strickland to P Diddy today, so that was pretty cool.
Can
I
he
mean,
say
they are
that?
both
Yeah,
fucking
he did.
yoked on roids, so
Yeah, and I guess I'm not gonna finish that sentence. But yeah, he called Swerve Strickland P Diddy tonight, so I'm very interested to hear what that's about. So but yeah, so I'll skip over everything.
The thing is that I can easily see the through line. Swerve Strickland is from indie wrestling. There you go.
Sure. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, like, I guess I'll skip over anything AEW related unless anybody wants to, like, I mean, Sam, if you wanted to talk about Joe and Eddie, I'd be happy to do that. I feel like that's really the only match that they did like the last week that's worth discussion, in my opinion. But yeah, I work at a community college, and I'm in a data department, and like so like for the next couple of months, like it's pretty light. Because like everybody's like working to get everybody through the door for the spring semester. Like meanwhile, I've already given them everything that they need, so like I just kind of hang around unless like somebody's panicking about something not working. So I got a lot of wrestling watching done, and I think like in terms of like leaving behind like what I know I don't enjoy being like American TV wrestling. What I had been gravitating towards a lot more than anything has been like Joshi wrestling, specifically like Marvelous and Sendai Girls. So like that's been like yeah, really kind of like taking up a lot of my time. I did watch the entirety of the whatever the name of the tag tournament is that Stardom does with yeah, I mean lots of misses, couple really cool Bozilla things happening every now and then. But I think more than anything, I have no shame as a trans woman admitting that I am hyperly invested in Natsupoi versus Sari, and that's like the rivalry that's really speaking to me more than anything at the moment. So I watched the Stardom Nighter in Corgan on 12/9, which had on it Cosmic Angels versus I guess the Sari Goon Squad of Miku, Kanai, Sari, and Chi Chi. Which was pretty cool seeing Natsupoi get a pin over Sari. I feel like I could talk about Natsupoi for like a lot. Again, I'm trans. I have to say that so like Marilyn doesn't accuse me of being Andrew Cesar. Again, I'm trans.
Yeah, and we haven't heard from Andrew in a while. I feel like
Maybe it's me.
Rossi has done something.
Killed
Not
him. Took
Rossi.
him.
No, Rossi isn't in Stardom anymore. What am I saying?
Not anymore. Yeah, not anymore. Okada would have did it.
Yes, that's who I meant to say.
Yeah.
I'm
feel like
worried about our boy Andrew.
Me too. Let's check in.
I don't think
after-
his life was going very well.
Yeah, I can't say mine is either if I'm watching the entire Stardom tag tournament. But I feel like the thing with the thing that Natsupoi speaks to me is like I really love fucking dumbasses, and I especially love dumbasses who can like put on like quick like I don't know like sprints that are like less than 12 minutes. I like if Will Ospreay wrestled the exact same way as Natsupoi, I'd love the guy, but he doesn't. So. Anywho, that's really been my enthusiasm a lot lately. Is that little rivalry? I'm looking forward to them having a one-on-one in a couple of weeks. The thing I did do based on Nathan's recommendation today, since like Sendai and Marvelous are like really what's capturing most of my energy. But like I'm kind of coming late to it. Like I kind of like really only realized in like I don't know, like maybe in like the end of October that like if I was going to be happy watching wrestling, it'd have to be like with those two promotions for the most part. I did watch the Big Show and Sendai from 9/23, which I watched most matches in it, 4 out of the 6. The main event on that was Shishiro Hashimoto and Mika Iwata, which Nathan had said he liked more. They liked more than Shishiro and Sari from a couple of weeks ago, which I really enjoyed. I think they're probably right. I think that match was like just so fucking smart and well wrestled. I think that like having watched that match, I do know that like for my VP 100, like I'm pretty positive it's going to be hard for anyone to talk me out of putting Chihiro number 1. I just think that like you put her in the ring with anyone, male or fucking female, and you're gonna get the best version of that person. Mika's somebody who I don't really like gravitate towards unless she's wrestling Chihiro. And I think, yeah, I mean, I just that's probably the highest. I went 4.5 on that, which is the highest I went in probably like 4 or 5 months, probably since All In. So yeah, I think that to me was really no, the biggest and most fun thing that I did watch. Did a bunch of Venny matches because I'm working on a Venny edit. One that really stuck out to me from this year was a seedlinging tag match, or not tag match, singles match for her title against Makoto. I wouldn't say it blew me out of the water, or Makoto blew me out of the water, but I do just
Makoto's
thoroughly
ever
enjoy
blown anyone out of the water.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, I enjoy Venny a lot. I especially enjoy Venny in tags. I'm not very high on Lena Cross like a lot of people in some of the other spaces I'm in, mostly like the Observer message board. They seem to really like Lena Cross. I'm not as high on her unless she's wrestling with Venny. I think that tag team is just like super like cunty. And yeah, they just complement each other really well. So yeah, I just finished doing a little edit for Venny that I posted that'll be posting like late this morning. And yeah, the other thing that I did that was really fucking disgusting. Yeah, I'm sickened with myself about is I watched 4 Shane Douglas matches in the last 24 hours. I'm starting with
Walk us through that. Why? Why do
You
Why?
doing a Shane Douglas edit?
I'm doing a Shane.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of my edits. Like the edits I like to do are like I want them to be as gay as possible. Usually set to like 80s like synth music. And for a while I've been trying to think like what could I set to Bizarre Love Triangle, and I was like, well, you never saw the Terry Funk Shane Douglas Sabu the night the line was cross match, or if you has it's been 30 years, so why the fuck not try to make it with that? So yeah, every now and then I'll just dip my toe into the ECW water. I'm 40. I grew up in New York. I was able to watch like a lot of the ECW stuff, like starting in like 2000 and starting in like '96 on the MSG channel. So it's like really like ECW to me is like the pinnacle of promotion. Obviously, I go back and I look at them like the show is basically an infomercial. But yeah, anytime like I just get it in my head to just dip my toes into the ECW water, I find myself down like crazy rabbit holes where I'm like, all right, I watched the Sabu match. What was he doing in the Enochiism, Geom Fed? It's just kind of how like my brain kind of operates. So yeah, but what happened in that match was after watching that match, you know you're getting out of Terry Funk, you know you're getting out of Sabu, and you know you're getting out of Shane Douglas, but opinions just sway so wide with Shane. And I feel so many complicated things with Shane Douglas that yeah, I don't know, just kind of wanted to dive deep, especially after Dan, may he rest in hell. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Bringing up the old man Shane Douglas match that he recommended last night, which let me make sure I get this right, was from Appalachian Championship Wrestling. For those about to rock, from June 26th, it was the franchise players versus Principal Chad, Shane Douglas, and the Barbarian, who are titled "We've Got Kids." Was just absolutely sensational old man graps from Shane and the Barbarian. The Barbarian really showed up, did some fantastic selling in that regard. But yeah, I think Shane is just such an interesting case. Like you could, yeah, I mean, I feel like in many ways he kind of reminds me of like MJF in that, like a less offensive MJF. It was just like a lot of talk about how great he was, and then the bell rings, and he's not actually executing. Like he's not doing what he like knows he can do to make a good match. So that's. I'm happy to open the floor for more Shane Douglas discussion.
Have you watched Shane Douglas XPW when he had the
No,
book? And that
no,
you are
no.
in for a journey, my friend.
Let's go.
Shane Douglas
I'm,
doing like it's clear that his education in booking was just hanging around near Paul Heyman.
that's
And so
great.
he's just doing the stuff he kind of remembers Paul doing. He does he immediately books himself to have Lizzie Borden as his new Francine, brings in Just Incredible, all the hits. But he does it in it's just such a weird way, especially if you are someone who has any reverence for ECW 1.0. It's just such a strange watch.
What years would that have been?
It would have been after WCW went out of business when Shane didn't get picked up by any of the others. It was like between WCW and TNA.
Oh, that's gonna be that'll be fantastic. Does anybody else have any Shane Douglas opinions? Like I'm always here to talk Shane Douglas and those beautiful blue eyes.
I stand by what I said either earlier today or yesterday, which is Shane Douglas is someone who he believes with all of his heart and soul that he's one of the best to ever do it. And he's so overconfident that occasionally that ballsiness like rose to the occasion and he could have great moments. But a lot of times he was just okay.
Yeah.
And being just okay while you're convinced with all of your heart and soul that you are the best thing ever isn't really it's not really a recipe for success. I think he also just became increasingly bitter because there was
Yeah.
a moment like when he threw down the NWA belt, there was a moment where people actually thought like this guy
He's
is the
gonna be the
next
guy,
big
yeah.
thing. This guy could be the next Flair or Dusty Rhodes or whatever. And he never forgave everyone for moving on from him.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you have the fun, the WCW run when he's Dean Douglas. Did watch a Dean Douglas match today versus the legendary Hakushi. 7-minute match on WWF Superstars. It's great. Lots of xenophobia from Jerry the King. Lots of Vinceisms. There's a Body Donna's walkout, which was absolutely fucking fantastic. Really, really beautiful time to be watching WWF in 1995. And then the other one I did, which was actually to your point, Pat, about like him being able to like rise to the occasion, was somebody mentioned last night too, the Two Cold Scorpio match at A Matter of Respect 1996, which still holds up, still a really fucking good match. Credit to Scorpio though on that one.
He's a guy where like if you gave him 5 minutes of promo time, he could do a memorable promo, but he always took 15 minutes promo time.
Yep. And he had the cadence of a guy who taught high school English, which can only get you so far to a degree.
Have you seen the TV title match? It's him, Jericho, Scorpio, and one of the Pitbulls, the bald Pitbull.
Yes, years ago, but
yeah.
I
mean, that's like 45 minutes long, and that's like that always strikes me as like the peak, like Shane Douglas thinking it's like Triple H versus Scott Steiner at the 2003 Royal Rumble, where Triple H was like, I don't care if Scott Steiner is functionally immobile, I can will this into being a great match. The same mentality at play, and it just falls flat. Like Jericho and Scorpio are the work rate guys. They're the first two out. And then it turns into the Shane Douglas show where he's like, in theory, he's giving Pitbull all these kickouts. Like he's like hitting Pitbull with a chain. He's giving him a pile driver. You can see him convincing someone, or Paul Heyman convincing people like, oh, see, you're going to look great because you're going to kick out of all this stuff. And then by the end of 45 minutes, they're both blown up to shit. And Shane Douglas gives him a belly to belly that Pitbull barely gets up for. And it looks so bad. And that's the finish. I'm like, well, whatever you gained from kicking out of the pile driver, you just lost from losing to a, winded blonde guy just kind of falling onto you.
Yeah. Which I guess is kind of the beauty of like The Night the Lion Was Crossed, is because the same thing happens. I mean, it's Terry Funk going for an hour. And
Terry Funk is no Pitbull number 2. I'll tell you that much.
No, not even in the same fucking league. That's the GOAT right there, Pitbull number 2. But they're definitely all blown up by the end of it, and there's Sabu trying very hard to do some splashes, and then a bunch of boy puddles that get very soft 2 counts. Really a fucking clusterfuck of a match. And I think about that ECW, like the Rise and Fall ECW DVD that WWF produced, and Paulie talks about it as if it's the single greatest moment in the history of the sport. And I mean there's some cool stuff in there, but that's a 2-star match, guys. I don't know what else to say about it. And the one other match that I watched right before I hopped on here, since it's the talk of the town these days, all the kids are talking about it. I'm young at heart. I wanna make sure that the Duckies of the world still respect me. I tuned into I believe the children of the future.
No.
But I went out of my way. I plugged up the old CW app. I logged right on to hear the sweet voice of Booker T. So I could watch the entirety of Thea Hale versus Blake Monroe, which was I mean, that Blake Monroe. I mean, she's getting lapped by Thea Hale, and in a match that is getting traction because of its botched ending, which. What a promotion. I miss my NXT, my pre Joe Hendry NXT. What do you think?
The craziest thing about that to me was someone posted the thing, the tweet of like, Thea Hale just won the NXT North American Women's Championship by accident.
Yeah.
And until someone mentioned Blake Monroe, I genuinely could not remember who the NXT North. Like I was just kind of like, well, that sucks for whoever lost.
Yeah.
And realizing like, oh my god, Mariah May went from cackling like a supervillain on AEW to this. It's very tempting to feel bad for her. I'm not going to, but it's tempting.
I respect endlessly how she got that bag. She turned 3 months of subpar work, I know I'm alone in thinking that, into like a bidding war for her mediocre talent. And for that, shouts to you, girl. I'll always have respect for her. I hope that's the last Blake Monroe match I ever watch.
No,
Because
I'm with you on it being subpar because she went for like the whole, like blonde Terminator thing,
yeah,
where she would do these interviews where she's affectless and
Yep.
trying to come across like she's a serial killer or something, and it didn't work in the slightest. Certainly, her wrestling did not back it up. But then, if you watch, like I said, that episode of AEW where RJ is just reading like thirst tweets
Yep.
that people were tweeting at her, and she cannot stop laughing at and like cannot stop laughing in a mean way. And I'm like, if
Yeah.
this was her character, entire promotions would be built around.
Yeah. But now she's with Sean. So good for her. Good for her.
Sean cooking.
Let him cook. But yeah, I think that's about all that I did outside of however many hours of AEW got shoved down our throats. Was it 14? I can't remember.
I pretty much completely sworn it off at this point.
So smart of you.
This week, and by this week, I mean just the past 2 days. It's pretty much every time I watch wrestling is the day of and the day before the podcast when I go, oh shit, I haven't watched anything. We got Southern Fried these
Hell
past
yeah.
2 days.
Give us those Southern Fried updates. Give those. I'm waiting for them.
Southern Fried Championship Wrestling, the promotion of the year. They were on a heater. They're on a heater. As I continue to make my way through the year, I know Dan was here. We would talk about Sal Renaro versus Seth Delay, a really stinking good match from April. It is just kind of like a well-paced championship match, 20 plus minutes, but feels like 10. It's just a hoot nanny of a thing. Seth's just got lots of fun offense to work with. Despite he essentially wrestles like a 45-year-old CrossFit person. I think that's cool and good.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. He's out here hitting head scissors from his back. And you're like, wow, what does that mean? Watch him. It'll make sense. It's beautiful. And Sal's just like a real force in that match. So yeah, Sal, all the long matches are not all bad, like the Nausism one from earlier in the year. I watched some other stuff. Watched they ran a Lethal Lottery show. It had CT Keys and Southern Fried Hall of Famer Jagged Edge versus Sal and Sunny Days. It's a fun match. Definitely, I would say check it out. Sunny Days, just a big old meatball of a man, which I dig. Jagged Edge, he just wrestles kind of like a vet, like a guy who's just completely broken down, does not have the benefit of money, where you can maybe stay in reasonable working shape for long periods of time. It's fun. I enjoy it. CT Keys really kind of a revelation of a wrestler for me this year. Looks like that dude. Best match I watched though was Matt Griffin, promoter of Action Wrestling, versus the promoter of Southern Fried Championship Wrestling, David Manders. Essentially for naming rights of the big annual Southern Fried Championship Wrestling show. Would it be Action Wrestling's Shindig or Southern Fried Championship Wrestling's Shindig. They bust out all the smoke and mirrors. There's just a lot to love about this match. It's, again, a 25-minute match between two promoters. But David Manders, a person who's not a professional wrestler by trade, throwing better punches than most wrestlers you're going to see nowadays. Matt Griffin, obviously a longtime wrestler, has been in the game for a while, but transitioned to more promoting. This year, he's got a VP 100Ks in the making. As I see, he's wrestling in death matches in Georgia as well. The man got the itch, and I do love this match. It involves both promoters' sons as well at various points. It's a family match. It's a match about community. It's got a lot going on. I love it so much. I definitely recommend checking that out.
How do you rank the promoter sons versus Steve Borden Jr.?
Steve Borden Jr. kicked their asses just all over the place.
I was expecting you to go the other direction.
Well, unfortunately, Steve Borden Jr. does look like a professional wrestler. And Matt Griffin's kid is 13 years old.
So these are actual kids. I thought you were just saying like the promoter's son, and it was like a 30-year-old dude.
No, at one point, Matt Griffin's son comes down, does like a quasi Vince walk down to the ring with a school backpack that is full of like tools. Like there's a mallet, a drill, a screwdriver. There's just a lot going on.
I don't like hearing the notion of a kid doing a Vince McMahon walk.
I don't know what to tell you.
Why not?
I don't like that.
I mean, in fairness to Sam, he said Vince McMahon like.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so was it more of a Vince McMahon walk or was it more of a Conor McGregor?
Closer to a Vince walk.
Okay.
Not
sure which is the good end of that spectrum.
It's on the other end of things. So it's like in the inverse direction of a Conor McGregor walk in comparison to a Vince walk. If that
actually, though, but before he quit the show, Dan did want us to spend a whole segment congratulating Conor on.
Yes, of course. It's what Dan would have wanted. And I appreciate that.
Conor, I know you're listening. Enjoy that honeymoon, brother.
Oh no. David Manders' kid looks like he flaked out of college. But again, not a professional wrestler.
Did they make these sons fight one another? Did they make the college student fight the 13-year-old?
It's such a bummer.
Was this just boy fights from Arrested Development?
Hell yeah.
Such a bummer. It's like 22-year-old dude didn't beat up a 13-year-old. But what are you gonna do? Then Shindig is Southern Fried Championship Wrestling big show of the year. It's their anniversary show. Happened in June. They do like this text bit at the beginning of the video on YouTube saying the day of Shindig. Jim, we were hosting this. The power went out. We ran the show anyway. The power never came on. So they're doing this with like floodlights on. Like the emergency lights the entire show, which is cool. And you have fans that just are like doing flashlights with their phones.
When you say the venue, only the venue's emergency lights are on, honestly, in my head, I'm just picturing like old Ring of Honor.
Sure. Yeah.
Like those Ring of Honor shows where they're just performing in front, like theoretically there are fans there, but they're just performing in a black void.
No, it is a light. Like you can see everything and everybody. But it is just like no overhead lights are possible here. It's something. It's something. And most of the show is played with technical difficulties. They really screwed me here because the Sauron versus CT Keys match, the rematch that I was begging for and hoping for, wasn't very good because they kind of just run straight to the finish. And it's CT Keys getting spit on, so then he just beats up Sal with a chain, and that's a DQ any day of the week. But the big main event, the feud that we've all been talking about each and every week, Sexton Alliance versus the Crusade. They wrestled each other in a penitentiary match where around the ring, attached to the guardrails, they put up 2x4s and they had wrapped chicken wire across all the 2x4s. So it was essentially a chicken wire wall. And then when everyone came into the ring and like was entranced, they staple gunned the chicken wire closed, so there wasn't like a way out, which was wonderful. I thought it was a fun match. I don't think anyone here, or frankly anyone listening, unless you care at all about the Sexton Alliance versus the Crusade, is going to get much out of this. But great visuals just throughout. And them attaching the leader of the Crusade, Hunter James, to the chicken wire and unable to move while his friends are getting their ass beat. Great. Dug it. Good stuff. Good stuff. So that's all I've been watching these past couple of days. It's been good stuff. Sun Friday Championship Wrestling. We continue the journey. And that's that. That's that.
Now was Matt Griffin and David Manders at No Risk, No Reward? Is that the right show?
That
for
is
that?
the one. That is the one from 5/17.
All right, I'll go out of my way to watch that one. That sounded. Anytime you get a 13-year-old doing Vince McMahon walk, that's not just calling my name. I'll tell you that.
I feel like
No chance.
the saying Vince McMahon walk probably oversold it just a bit, but like
That's fine. Even better.
not
Even
natural.
better.
It's not a normal walk. That is for
Even
sure.
better. Even better.
But yeah, now let's talk about what's coming on the site. I don't fucking know.
New Dig Deep, I think just dropped today, and QNTR.
There we go. They're back.
QNTR are back
each and every week from here on out. That's what
they said. I believe they dedicated several minutes to talk about how they have nothing else going on in their lives, so they can just lock in.
They said
also appreciate them.
It's better than ever.
They took the hit of talking about John Cena's retirement so that we wouldn't have to.
In a way.
That's what you thought.
Yeah, what's our big top this week?
That's a great question. So, Orchid, I'm going to let you tell us the big top because as our guest, you got to choose.
All right. Well, let me find the exact language because I worked really hard on it, like 2 seconds. Yeah, thank you. Imagine you are Paul Triple H Levesque, and you're tasked with booking John Cena's final month. But you've also acquired a time machine. Who are you booking as his final opponent? Who goes over in the finish? And what does the opening segment of Raw look like the night after Saturday night's main event?
I really don't like imagining that I'm from Nashua, New Hampshire.
As somebody who lived in it,
I can deal with the rest of the stuff, but being from Nashua is just a bridge too far for me.
Do you know where Epping, New Hampshire is?
Yes.
I lived there for a bit, so Nashua would be a step up.
I see what you're saying, but that's like saying like, oh, I'd rather lose my pinky finger than lose my ring finger.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So who do you call upon first to?
You. I call you always.
Okay.
Love that, Pat.
All right. So I thought about getting really weird with it and doing like various time-related crimes. Had my notepad file. I did all of this after work, which my workday ended about 2 hours before we started recording. But one of them was John Cena gives Hitler the AA to end World War II. And I only in reading that aloud do I realize that would mean World War II ends in 2025.
Well, or you're taking John Cena back to the 1940s, as you are in this
And
scenario.
then
Also
showing
taking
news, and then on Saturday night's main event is showing newsreel footage from 1945,
yeah. That's
recently
exactly
declassified.
yeah.
But
I
then
mean,
I
that's
thought, well,
one approach.
what would I do if I wanted to make a good show? And I would get rid of the tournament, whatever it was called, the John Cena's last opponent tournament, the JT Lightning Invitational, whatever it was. And the idea, I mean, you can't really rebook the last month in a meaningful way unless you want to go back and rebook the entire last year. Because right at the start of the year, he said, I'm out on such and such date. I'm going away forever. I'm returning to my home planet. I'm going to go yell about dogs at my new wife instead of yelling about dogs at my old wife, like he did on Total Divas. And so I don't know who's a general manager type figure in WWE now. Is Magnus? Is he still doing that?
Adam
Who said
Pearson.
that?
I almost said Adam Pierce. Or Adam Priest. I don't think it's Adam Priest. I think it's
Adam
Adam Pearson.
We're bringing in Adam Priest just to be a backstage GM. He's not wrestling. He's going to look really funny in it. So he gets up on his step ladder to say, "Hey, John Cena, look down here. Your final match. We're going to do a big blow away 6-man tag, but it's on you. This is your last hurrah. You get to choose your teammates. You get to choose your opponents." And so the month leading up to that, Cena isn't wrestling much, but it's kind of an extended, once a week trip down memory lane where he can say, hey, so and so, we have history. Do you want to be part of this with me? Do you want to do that? And then there will be people who will turn him down. Like you'd have a thing of Paul Heyman saying, Brock appreciates the offer, but he'd rather suck his own dick in hell. You would have to have someone agree to be part of it and then get injured. I just off the top of my head, like Roman Reigns agrees to be part of it, and then Solo Sikoa hits him with a car or something. Just because this also has to generate stuff that extends beyond Cena's thing. Like, it can't just be a total dead end. So Roman Reigns is out, and he gets replaced at the last minute by The Miz. This is important. It has to be someone that no one likes, no one wants to be in the match, but who can still deliver what this essentially is. The 6-man tag that I came up with is John Cena, R-Truth, and Randy Orton versus CM Punk, AJ Styles, and The Miz, and complete crowd work. Like they have 25 minutes and they just, play off of old stuff, get Cena and Orton in the ring together, having to work together as opposed to working apart. You get Cena and R-Truth doing stuff. You just bounce people off one another and just give the crowd what they want. In the end, The Miz annoys CM Punk and AJ Styles so much that they refuse to tag out. They refuse to let Miz tag out, and so Miz eats the 5 moves of doom, Cena wins. Everyone celebrates. First segment of the Raw after that, Cena is going to give his heartfelt goodbye speech. When Paul Heyman interrupts, and while Paul Heyman is, jaw-jacking, Braun Breaker comes out of nowhere, tears Cena's titties off, leaves him broken and like dead for all intents and purposes, never to be seen again. And Braun Breaker just stands there soaking in the heel heat of ruining Cena's big moment. And then, I don't know, someone defends Cena's, R-Truth defends Cena's honor later, but that is the segment of First Raw. So that is me trying to book something that like would actually be TV people might want to see, as opposed to, I would use the time machine to like fucking, get like Jake the Snake from Heroes of Wrestling, mentor Cena. I don't know. I think I was a little boring with it, but I do like the idea of John Cena, Randy Orton, and R-Truth as a trio.
I'm proud of you. I mean, that could have went in so many worse directions. Worse is not the right word, but problematic directions.
More entertaining.
Yeah, let's stick with that. I like that one better. Love it. Anytime you can get that R-Truth on television, yeah, the people clamor for him.
I mean, you kind of have to, because I'm thinking about like who needs this the most. I mean, now that Cena's gone, R-Truth, there's no 24/7 title to chase after. The Judgment Day, I don't even know if they still exist. I don't know what R-Truth does. He might turn up in NXT next week and become the new Women's North American Champion or something. But
he could, yeah, he could. He could beat Thea Hell. Booker would love that. All right, do I call on someone else now? Is that do I have the baton?
I don't hear them volunteering, so I say go for it.
Yeah, Sam, what do you got?
I'm not the crass person that Pat is. So
You're not.
When this topic came through, didn't think about it again, because this was mere hours ago. And then I was like, okay, so the concept of the run up is John Cena going through all the opponents that people lie to you and say, see, this is why John Cena's a good wrestler. So we're bringing in Great Khali. Like, that's the big one, I think. Like, that's the start of it, but like that's the one I'm thinking about at the end of the day. We're bringing Umaga back from the dead. That's great. You need that. Also back from the dead, recent Sabu. Let's bring him back. Time to, again, Cena is an actual worker. He knows what he's doing out there.
So you're using the time machine to go back to like right after Sabu took that kratom.
Exactly. I was like, he's got one more good performance left in him. John Cena gets it. That also means that like John Cena gets to give a eulogy during the end in here, which I think is pretty good.
A Sabu eulogy? John Cena's giving the Sabu
exactly. As his last opponent, you're some parting words.
He's beating the Violent People website
Who has been compromised to a permanent end.
I love that. That's awesome.
Imagine being the person who gets to eulogize both Osama bin Laden and Sabu.
David Shoemaker. Nobody's doing it like David Shoemaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How do we compare this to Bartes? Or is it Bartes? I can't remember how you say if you pronounce the TH in that.
Bars, Ronald Bars. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. But I always want to say it like in Spanish. Sometimes like TH, you just say like a T.
Yeah, totally.
And I always want to say it like that. Bartes. But yeah, I remember Shoemaker. He loved sucking that guy off. I'm not into it.
Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. Shoemaker's always sucking off Ronald Reagan. Those fucking obituaries.
Oh shit. Yeah, he'd be doing that. I like it, Sam. I like it. You get the Joey Janela discourse going right through. You get all the podcasters got Bully Ray talking about Joey Janela again. It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, I think we got some good stuff cooking there. We got some good stuff.
Yep.
Cooking.
Chris, what you got?
Well, as we all know, because it was for some reason the discussion for several days after the fact, John Cena lost that match, and I believe that makes him a coward. He is not a true great. He's not a true great politician. He could have laid down the law and said, I'm not doing that, brother. And so we have to teach him that lesson with a man who has not done that, brother, the most. We are bringing Hulk Hogan from like April, I guess, because May is when he had that surgery. And Hogan, old ass 71-year-old or 70-year-old, I guess he would have been, Hogan, is going to just absolutely bury Cena in his final match in the lead up, because he's still not going to be very mobile. He is not doing much, but he is just like laying in the weakest like elbows and punches you've ever seen. And John Cena is just standing there taking it, looking like just a fucking clown. And then we eventually get to the big match. And Hogan chops him a couple times. John Cena gets no offense in. If he even attempts a punch, Hogan is not selling it. Lays down roughly 5 minutes into the match. Hogan does a leg drop that does stop his heart there, and he dies in the ring. And on Monday Night Raw, that is your new Hogan tribute to the real greatest to ever do it, Hulk Hogan. John Cena is a fucking fraud.
Question, just for Hogan, are we also giving him kratom?
Yes.
Oh, much
Okay.
kratom.
Absolutely.
I don't think that leg drop's happening otherwise, to be honest.
That's a good point.
Like I don't think that 70-year-old Hulk Hogan was capable of swinging up his leg.
Yeah, we're doing whatever we can to do to like get him to do these moves in very limited
It's gonna
time.
be like what's the fucking Clint Eastwood Unforgiven, where it's like he swore he'd never kill again, but he has to go back to it. But it's gonna be like that, but for Shawn Michaels opening a giant bag of Somas to give to Hogan.
You do a lot of good backstage segments with Somas. Even if you bring some of the NXT roster up, like if Zaruka is like trying to, sell, or Tony D, I guess, would probably be trying to sell Hogan some Somas. That could probably work. I think you could get away with that in NXT. I also don't know if this is the right time to pitch this, but a podcast idea that I have is that I'd be hosting would be called the Official Unauthorized Joey Janela Podcast. And the premise of this would be that I'm the host. I bring a new person on every week. I buy you a lot of kratom. You take it all, and we watch Sabu matches. I don't know if that's $1 million idea or not. You think that moves mugs?
That
I think
mugs.
that's
a mug mover.
It's a mug mover.
I think
Okay.
Deadlock already does that.
That's a good point, though. That's a good point. Yeah, that is what
Pretty sure
Deadlock's done
that's what
for.
they do.
That's why the wrestling promotion is closing. You heard it here first, guys. Rovert
Yeah.
right here reporting. Yeah, they're closing it down so they could start get in the kratom business. That's what's happening.
Well, they lost all of the money for the promotion because they just bought so much kratom.
Which who can blame them these days? You know, I mean, it's either gambling or kratom. It's one or the other. You know. Shots fired on my part. Whoopsie. Good one.
Yeah,
All right.
we don't take kindly to people maligning gambling.
No, we don't.
Actually, no, wait. We do like dissing gambling because Dan's not here. Forgot we were against Dan.
Good point.
So yeah, gambling sucks.
All right, I'll give you mine. So I'm taking you to Monday Night Raw on November 10th in Boston, Massachusetts. Zoran Mondani has just won the mayoral election. That might not seem relevant since we're in Boston, but it will be once you start understanding like where we're headed with this.
Oh no, the Boston Herald, the front page of the Boston Herald was all over. Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, we don't have the New York Post. We have the Boston Herald. It's like, what if the New York Post was shittier?
I've seen Spotlight. I know, like it's a comfort movie.
No, that's
for
the
me.
Boston Globe. That's the good one.
Oh,
Boston
okay.
Herald, like I said, is the New York Post, but like less effort put into it.
Yeah, there. Okay, now I was mixing up my own New York papers, and now I'm remembering. Okay, fantastic. All right. Well, anyway, so since it's on the paper, that makes things nice and easy. So we bring out Sami Zayn to congratulate Madami for winning. Madami comes out. He's bowing. He's saying "fuck AEW." He hates Kenny Omega. Forget about all that stuff. And he gets attacked by MAGA Butcher. Not Necro Butcher, MAGA Butcher. I have a time machine. I'm using it. I'm going back in time about right around the time the cancer is setting in, and I'm bringing Necro to WWE finally. The tournament is still going on as planned. Every tournament match happens. It's a run out with Necro. As we get closer and closer towards the DC show, he's getting more and more right leaning. So fuck Kill Tony. Like we're moving past Kill Tony. Nick Fuentes is showing up. They're playing the We Are Charlie Kirk AI generated song as Necro is making his way to the ring. Obviously, I'm doing all this because I need to get Trump in DC for this retirement. Like that absolutely has to happen. And then he's calling out, John Cena the entire time, telling him that, same thing, pro wrestling, sports entertainment. We're not changing anything about that specific storyline. But what ends up happening instead of a 12-minute slow prodding, good for what it was, retirement match against Walter, Necro is just busting John Cena up Necro Joe style, except the real hero, the real valiant hero wins. MAGA Butcher wins. John Cena crawls into a incredibly depressing puddle in however many square feet his house is. Donald Trump is there weeping uncontrollably. Marjorie Taylor Greene has decided she's not going to leave Congress. Necro Butcher has inspired her to do so. And then on the Monday Night Raw, we're going right into MAGA Butcher, MAGA Cody Rhodes. And that's what's taking us all the way to WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. That's our main event. It's actually not just the main event, it's every match. 2 nights, Saudi Arabia, WrestleMania, 8 matches every night, Cody Rhodes versus MAGA Butcher. MAGA wins everyone. They leave Cody in Saudi Arabia, never to be heard from again.
I like that end. That part about it, I'm all in on.
That's beautiful. Tears in my eyes. I love that you used to help get Trump. For your lib, you did use Zoran, who Trump fucking loves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you need the libbed out guy, or like more than libbed off. You need the enemy of the right, who also Trump just can't stop gushing over because he has swag.
Yeah. Yeah, the one he wants to have sex with. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, thought about this from all angles. I did not just come up with this 2 minutes ago. I did. Well, I knew MAGA was going to be there. That part I knew. I knew if I could book anything, it'd be the MAGA butcher. But all the other stuff, that those flourishes, I don't know. Give me a ring nose or Vince Russo. I mean, I'd rather work with Vince Russo at this particular point. Yeah, give me a ring, Vince. But I think that's the big top.
No, that is very much the big top. Sorry, we got a couple things I'm working on here. Okay, sorry, 1 second. And hit the music. All right, so let's get into Q&A R now. Question for the pod from Haven. Favorite John Cena matches?
Ones we just
Ones when he
made up.
wins.
Yeah.
All right. Docomo. I didn't say that right, but we're gonna move on. Question for the pod. Favorite John Cena movies?
12 rounds. 12 rounds kind of sucks, but I still like it because it's what if Die Hard was also Saw.
Okay. No, that's interesting. I've never heard of this movie before.
You haven't?
There's like 4 sequels, all starring different wrestlers.
I've seen 12
Oh.
rounds 3. No lot. Whatever the one that Moxley was in, I saw that one countless times. It's fantastic.
Yeah, Orton is in 2.
Orton's in 2.
By one of our great hacks, Rennie Harlan, director of one of our greatest hacks.
Is it Rennie Harlan or Jan de Bont who did Speed 2?
Jan de Bont did both Speed movies.
Okay, thank you. That's not really relevant to what we're talking about. I couldn't remember.
The actual best Cena movie, like quality-wise, probably F9.
I'm gonna go with the Suicide Squad one. I mean, it's still kind of Guardians of the Galaxy light, but it's fine. I'm looking at a list of his movies, and I'm like, they kind of top out at it was fine.
Blockers is pretty fun. It's a pretty funny movie I watched a few years ago. Don't know how it holds up. But John Cena, the John Cena mugging comedy shit, I think that's his best performance doing that. Instead of whatever straight to Amazon slop he's doing, like Ricky Stenicki and Jackpot.
What?
Apparently he's in Coyote versus Acme.
He was in Zootopia too, right? Didn't he have a?
He plays a lawyer
in.
He plays a lawyer in Coyote versus Acme. Who cast John Cena as a lawyer?
Put him in Suits. He'd be great in that show.
Oh,
Orchid,
Suits! What a show!
What a show! Am I right?
Podcast
all day. We love that. We love that. Whatever the fuck. We love that. What's the bald guy's name? The bald guy.
Meghan Markle.
Who was lit?
Meghan Markle. That's it. Yeah, Meghan Markle. Oh man, what a show!
You just got lit. Folks, if you want to start a Mentalist podcast with me or a Suits podcast with me, let me know.
All day.
I'm here for it.
My wife would love to talk Suits with you, Sam. I just know I know it. She would love to talk Suits with you.
Send her over. It'd be great.
I think for me, I think mine would probably be either. I don't think I've seen a single John Cena movie. So from his Wikipedia, I'm gonna say either the Flintstones and WWE Stone Age SmackDown, or probably Blue is the Warmest Color. One or the other. Just depends on my mood that day.
I do think if we expand the question to Cena TV, his performances as a psychotic freak in Total Divas and Total Bellas are matched.
Those were pretty good.
Easily,
Yeah,
easily the peak of his media presence.
as a subtle gaslighter. Yeah.
As someone who the reality show producer said, we need someone who's a villain, but not like a villain. We just need you to be a fucking weirdo. And he said, oh, I can do that. You know, Cena I feel like he spends every day reciting the fucking there is an idea of Patrick Bateman monologue in his head.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
he just wanders into his day and decides what John Cena do people need to see today? And then just slides it. He's like Ted Bundy.
All right, good segue to the next question from Tim. Question from VPR. Favorite John Cena?
Again, Total Bella's John Cena, where he's just a fucking freak, and Nikki Bella, he's just destroying her life for his own amusement.
Can't disagree there. Anyone else got any thoughts?
I liked him in Moonlight.
Okay.
Yeah, he kind of stuck out in Parasite. It was really weird that there was just one white dude in that movie, but he's really good.
Do you all think that Tim was trying to trick us into saying Juan Cena?
Yes, and we saw right past it.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's him.
All right. Marilyn, question for 3PR. Favorite John?
John
Lewis in
Cassavetes.
Robin Hood Men in... Oh, sorry?
I said John Cassavetes.
That's a good one. I'm going with Richard Lewis in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Doe.
Orchid, you
I don't think you
Yeah.
want to be going with Kevin Spacey in 2025.
Yeah, I'm going.
Spoilers for the movie Seven if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go John Carpenter. I feel like that's pretty safe.
Yeah, he's collecting. He's a paycheck king. He's got great movies aside from that, but like really respect John Carpenter for like having his name on that one video game that has nothing to do with him, just so he can collect a paycheck.
Cool. He just likes video games.
Yeah, but I don't think he plays that one. Maybe
no,
he does.
All over Toxic Commando.
I think they still do like comic books that are like, you know, John Carpenter's, you know, something, and they're just so obviously like he has nothing to do with these, but they're like, we'll give you $25, and he's like, great, put my name all over that motherfucker.
Yeah, no, that is exactly how it goes.
I want to watch Robin Hood Men in Tights now. Can we just do that for the rest of the podcast?
I'm game.
I haven't seen that movie in years.
I have seen that movie about 100 million times. All of those times before I was 13.
It's a great movie to watch before you're 13.
It's amazing.
Pre-internet, especially.
In many years. I gotta get my Mel Brooks set out. All right. Shit, I lost my spot completely. Next question. Well, that's not a question for the pod. Ducky, I guess, has a question for the pod. In theory, question for the pod: was Johnny Appleseed a real person? More of a quiz.
Yes, he was. We were just hanging out last week.
Dang, got him. All right, question from Nick Yemen. Question for the pod. At the time of asking, who do you think has gone longer without saying something problematic or pissing themselves out of Vince, Trump, and Flair? How long do you think the winning time would be?
I've been stressing this question all day because the three of them could be doing all three of those things at this very moment. Like, I feel like it's a ping pong in terms of like who's in the lead right now.
Okay, so here's my thing. It's really a question of who sleeps longer.
Yeah.
And Flair is immediately out because one of the criteria is pissing. Flair has not woken up in a dry bed in 40 years. So that's down to Trump and Vince. And I think of the two, I can imagine Trump sleeping more. Like, even if it's like 4 hours a night versus 3 hours a night, I do think I gotta hand it to Donald Trump. Don't anyone clip that.
Yeah, I don't think Vince sleeps. He just like re-energizes himself with spite and anger and hatred in ways even beyond Trump. So that's how he rests, is actually he just gets stronger getting mad.
I'm gonna be.
I also think
I imagine
Vince
Trump
pisses himself the least.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Vince doesn't piss. He's got one of his weird hangups. But I imagine Trump just kind of collapsing into bed and just dreamless state, like completely, gone. Vince in bed, even if he does sleep, he's still managing to like say angry, hateful things. Like he's just thrashing in bed, like saying very uncool things about like low income housing.
I'll be the wild card. I'll say Flair. I know he's injured at the moment. No, but that means he's probably pissing and shitting himself like crazy.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is, adding pissing to it means Flair loses just instantly.
I think Flair has gone the longest without saying something problematic, but the shit and piss disqualifies him.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Flair might actually be the winner because he was the one who was dead longest.
That's a good point. What about the winning time? No one's factored that in. Like how long has this person went?
Well, yeah. How long was Flair dead in that match? Like 2 minutes?
Something like that.
So that's. I think I'll go with that. I think I've come around. I've convinced myself it's probably Flair for those 2 minutes that he was is legally no longer alive.
You heard it here first. Rovert reporting. Vince McMahon died, so he's out. Yeah. Sign my name,
Fake
Rovert,
news.
to that. Nope,
Fake
it's real.
News. Come on now.
It would be so fucking funny if like 8 a.m. tomorrow.
I know, that's what I'm shooting my shot here right now as Rovert.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think Rovert would have anything to say about dying. I think he'd just kind of shrug and go, "Yeah, so move on."
Yeah.
All right. Giacomo, question for the pod. What is the worst question you ever answered on the pod?
Sam, I feel like this is your wheelhouse.
No, unfortunately, when I don't like a question, I don't answer it. So that's the issue. Is that I've declined so many questions, I can't even keep them straight.
It's Tim's.
Yeah, probably.
My answer is that everyone should go to the wrestling playlist Substack, and check out Dan's Season of Giving playlist, which we forgot to plug earlier.
I agree.
He's
That
getting
was the
real
worst.
sappy.
Yeah, that was the worst question anyone asked me. I agree. I'll go with that too. Club hat.
Damn, I can't believe we forgot that. Everything for us. It was pretty nice.
I mean, he
us.
went out of his way to like write nice things about each of us too. And then he fucking quit the show.
Then he quit. He must have known the kind of people we are, not bringing up the nice things he said.
I'm refusing to accept this. I'm gonna miss the sweet sound of Dan's voice.
Sweet?
So
We're calling it
yeah,
sweet?
yeah, in a way, like like the
In
white
a
guy
way.
sweet.
Okay, no.
Yeah,
Now you're cooking. Now you're cooking.
Yeah,
I mean,
thank you.
Dan is as much as we are against him now, we cannot deny he is the coldest white boy in the game.
It's true.
I was thinking about how cute his giggle was, but yeah, sure, he's the coldest white boy in the game. Sure, we can go with that.
Next question from Dan Rice. Question of the podcast. Do you guys miss me when I'm not on?
More than
Now-
anything. More than anything.
Now the worst answer or worst question we've ever answered.
Worst
This
question?
one.
Got a winner.
This is the best question anyone's asked me since my wife asked if she wanted to get married. If I wanted to get married. R.I.P. Dan, rest in hell. Love you forever.
Rest in piss. Cole, question for the pod. What's your favorite aspect of the incredibly horny live action Grinch film?
I've never seen it. Is this? I can't tell if this question is like totally made up or if the live action Grinch movie is horny.
It
I'm
is.
relying on
And-
someone
and-
else to.
And it sucks.
It's
Well,
unsettling.
Hold on
It's
now,
unsettling.
folks. It's not.
This is the Jim Carrey one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never seen it. I don't watch baby movies.
Jim Carrey's doing a lot in this movie, folks. It's not that bad. Chris is but the best part is when little baby boy Grinch shaves and cuts his face. That's it. All right. What do you got? Orchid, you got anything about the Grinch movie, live action Grinch?
I only saw it for the first time last year, and yeah, it's it's that sort of like caricature. It's just unsettling to me. I think the best part about it was probably Jeffrey Tambor, pre-cancellation. That was really interesting to see him and Molly Shannon in the film at the same time. I was really unsettled by their noses. Everyone's nose made me feel really
That's a tough
uncomfortable.
one.
Yeah, the
it's
nose.
really.
Those have unsettled me since I was a child.
I feel good about that. Ugh, yeah, I'm shuddering just thinking about the noses. Oh, I
was gonna
googled
ask
it.
people to submit a question about the Family Stone for next week, but we're not doing an episode next week, folks. I can tell you that.
Yeah, we're busy. We got to go see Avatar. We got stuff to do.
I've got to spend time with my wife's entire family. We've got 4 people staying here at my house next week. Gotta get prepped. Gotta get ready. For the podcast, if your 14-year-old self was transported to right now, who would their favorite wrestler be? Pat did ask clarifying question of 2025 wrestlers, you mean? Sure, was the answer.
Yeah, Pork really stood behind the question there.
He did.
He really knew what he was going for, I think, is what I would say.
I think the stuff that I valued as a 14-year-old would probably, in the modern day, it would probably be Darby Allin. Because I was a fucking, dumb little ECW mutant. And I also really liked junior heavyweight stuff more than heavyweight stuff. So Darby Allin is kind of where the two threads tie together.
I thought you were gonna say Sky Blue because of how much you loved the Bagula McGillicuddy match. I thought you were gonna pick another deathmatch legend and say Sky Blue.
No, because other than the bloody freak stuff, I mean, Sky Blue is like too much of a wrestler to really capture what the
Yeah.
Beulah versus Fonzie match has going for it. Like she's too trained, which is to say she's had any training at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Darby he's still a trained wrestler, but he pushes against it in way the stuff that this is something that I've always enjoyed. So like 14-year-old me wouldn't be thinking about this, but 40-year-old me is that he is consistently pushing against what's expected. The kind of received language of a pro wrestling match as defined by like Matt D tweets.
Yeah.
And that sort of excitement is something that I know I would latch onto, like 14-year-old me. The sort of stuff that I got from like Hayabusa, or just matches where things were constant. Sabu matches, like Sabu matches, there was that undercurrent of things might go wrong at any point. Like he might completely lose control and eat shit at any point. Darby Allin has that same tension and that same electricity.
Yeah. Fair. It's
On
such
the
a
other
tough
hand,
question.
I might see like 2025 Shane Douglas in Appalachia Championship Wrestling and just be like, oh man, he's still got it.
It is such a tough question for like us being both like old ECW heads, because like to have somebody like that's like that reckless, but like also like still like good in ring, it's just like that person is so like hard to find these days. Like I feel like I've been like really like racking my brain like about this like all day. But like I'm also wondering too, like what 14-year-old me who's like on AOL 4.0, my mind's gonna be blown by like the internet now. I feel like I'd probably like end up picking like somebody like Jun Kasai, like some really easy to get to really quick, and like I could be like, oh, there's some deathmatch wrestling. Another person I would probably think of would be like, I love Kodaka now because he reminds me of a lot of the shit that was like really like kind of like, or at least the surprise I used to feel a lot like when I watched like really fucked up ECW's matches. Because I love New Jack, like that was my fucking guy. So I feel like it's somebody in BJW, and I feel like Kodak is the one who I lean to now as a
BJPW.
40-year-old. BJ, thank you. Apologies. Fuck, I didn't know the bot was on the pod as well. But yeah, I feel like I'd probably lean like somebody who'd like be bleeding a lot. Maybe Abdullah Kobayashi as well, who really got me horny a couple of months ago.
I would not like anyone because I like 14 years old through like 17 is when like I truly had no interest in wrestling. And like a little bit later into college is when I got back into it because I needed something to watch while I was hungover. And I got a free trial to WWE Network. So if I was 14, probably nobody. But I mean, I would still have fond memories of like the wrestlers I watched growing up. So Darby makes a lot of sense as someone who is like a big Jeff Hardy fan growing up.
Yeah.
But truly nobody. Samoa Joe, because before I like stopped watching wrestling, I did watch a little bit of like TNA and Ring of Honor that got uploaded in terrible quality to LimeWire. And I liked Samoa Joe and AJ Styles. So it would be like, oh, Joe's still going in the future.
See AJ Styles' hair and just like, your eyes would bug out of your head.
When I was 14, that's like 2007. I was a TNA head. X Division. Like, it's not about weight limits, but no limits. So probably folks like Mike Bailey and like I would probably, I don't know. I'm all about him right now, so it probably would have been when I was 14 too. Kevin Knight rules.
I think that's my answer too, like deep down. Like if I'm not trying to be cool about it, like it's probably those two guys specifically.
Yeah, I wanted to say Darby, but I was like, Darby wouldn't have been my guy because I'm
Yeah.
just kind of a loser. Still am.
No Mike
Same.
Payne, you're not coming back, and Mike Payne's not tickling you.
I wasn't. You know what? I wasn't hip yet. I wasn't
You
hip
weren't
yet.
into it yet.
I
You weren't
wouldn't.
into it?
I didn't like. I had not met Dylan Hales yet, which really
Mhm.
changes the trajectory of my fandom.
Sure.
For the worse. Next question. Nick Yemen, question for the pod. Which current wrestler do you think your 70-year-old self will massively overrate due to nostalgia?
Sky Blue, absolutely. I still have to start my Get Sky Blue and the Violent People 100 campaign like I did last year. I don't know how to talk to you people in that way, but it'll be Sky Blue.
The thing with the Violent People 100 thing is, I think everyone is eager to make the case. And I think they are equally eager to not listen to anyone else's case. That said, who will I overrate in my nostalgia when I'm 70?
Just to talk while
I'm
you're
trying
thinking
to think.
about
I'm
that.
trying to think of like deathmatch freaks who I will,
Meets Water.
No, I already did. I already like massively overrated him once. I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, he might really turn it around in TNA.
I just don't know how sentimental you're going to be in your 70s.
Probably not very.
Yeah, we'll see.
I
Mean
will
old
have
bastard.
completely lost my mind, and I will say that it was Pigpool.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. Perfect. Now it's Mike Payne. Now the answer is Mike Payne. All right.
Yeah, that
Probably
makes
Drew
sense.
Parker.
Drew Parker. No, that's a good one. That's
Drew
pretty
Parker.
good.
I'm gonna be 70, half senile, and being like, man, Drew Parker had so many great matches, and then I'm gonna go back and look at his cage match, whatever cage match is, and when I'm 70, and I'm just gonna be like, yeah, all those classics. Him versus Jack Harrop. Him versus Lou Nixon. Him versus I don't know, some other British, Tim Strange.
Walter Hauser. Where by 70, all the monster I've drank will have corrupted my brain, and I will not be able to keep facts straight. I'll just conflate.
Oh, by the time you're
the wrestling
70, he'll have a couple of Oscars to his name. You'll be like, yeah, but he was a great wrestler too.
Exactly. When I'm watching the Oscars on YouTube when I'm 70 years old, I'm excited to bring this up.
In the little
Question.
YouTube chat window.
Question for the pod. What is your favorite Hanukkah tradition or memory?
I am mad
So-
that Dan answered this because it is the Rugrats Hanukkah special, which is like taught me what Hanukkah was as a child.
So I had a weird thing where, despite not being Jewish, I went to Jewish like preschool and pre-K, like specifically Jewish preschool. This was more due to logistics, in terms of being near where my mom worked than anything else, but it did open me up to the many wonderful traditions of the Jewish faith. I will say, I wish I could say chocolate gelt is the best Hanukkah tradition, but chocolate gelt is usually pretty shitty chocolate. So I'm going off of memory here, so this might be connected to a different Jewish holiday, but I will say the tradition of Judith luring a enemy general into bed with promises of dairy. Like I can't remember what she was. If it was like she was offering him like cheese, basically saying like eat all this cheese and then come fuck me, and then she cut off his head. But just the premise alone of like, yeah, eat all this cheese and then then we can go to bed. It just I don't know, something about it really gets me. Anyway, Judith, hero to everyone. Save the Jewish people by cutting the general's head off.
For me, I never really listened to Silver Jews much, but I do love David Berman's poetry. Actual Air, specifically, great book. For my birthday every year, he has a great poem called Self Portrait at 28. And like I always try to like write like a self portrait on my birthday, like as good as that one. And I think in 2020, I finally did like that poem justice. So that'd probably be my favorite Hanukkah tradition.
I like to make the dreidels in art class when I was a kid. That was fun.
That's awesome. I went to Catholic school. We didn't do any of that stuff. I would always get pissed.
So that's the thing. I went
Wanna
from
go-
Jewish preschool to Catholic actual school.
It's the most New
The
England thing
weird-
I've heard.
Yeah,
We
I
had
don't know, man.
a
My parents were trying to
person in
fuck
my
with me.
grade who was half Jewish.
So
yeah.
you were keeping track of this.
Well, they were like in the like local town newspaper like, every year, promoting the fact that we have
Half Jewish
a half Jewish
child
family
still here headline.
amongst us. And I was like, this seems weird, right? This is odd. Anyway, Hallmark has a new Hanukkah based
Ooh.
movie called Oi to the World.
Oh, I'm in. Love that Hallmark channel.
If you
So
made
that's
that
pretty
thing, if you changed that from OY to OI, it would be a much more racist movie.
Sir, what'd you say to change it to?
Change from OY like as in oy vey to change it
Yeah.
to OI as in like oi music.
It's a good poster because it's in front of stained glass, and over the man's shoulder is a stained glass dreidel, and over her shoulder is a Christmas tree. So it's really like a clashing of worlds.
It's like a multiverse.
That's what I'm calling it. That's what I'm starting to call interfaith relationships.
It's the religious multiverse.
Well, I'd be happy to share my Hallmark login in case we need another group one. So I definitely have a Hallmark account. I'm game. Let's do it.
All right. Last question from Orchid. Question for the Sam. Interesting. Favorite Lou Reed song? Let me Google any Lou Reed song and see like.
So no progress in the last couple of weeks.
No progress.
The thing
I
is,
don't
know who he is.
You've
Sam,
heard
if
some
you
of
listen
them.
to
I
the-
can promise you.
Yeah, if
I
you
don't know
just
about
listen to the
that.
bass line of Walk on the Wild Side, you will immediately be like, oh, that.
You have heard
pretty sure it-
"Satellite of Love" in a movie.
Have you seen Train Spotting?
Nope.
Okay, it wasn't on Shudder, so I should have guessed you haven't.
Exactly. Anyway, well, maybe post Christmas. I'll get back to you.
All
you.
right.
Probably not.
Well, good luck. Good luck. He's a very obscure artist. I know it's going to be hard to find his music.
I mean, I was like, who's this? That's crazy. Anyway, Orchid, thanks for being on.
Yeah, pleasure.
You guys too.
Yeah, no problem.